I kind of want to come back to the community management aspect of things a little bit, because you mentioned that like a lot of players kind of had egos and everybody wanted to be better, and that is like really common in like a competitive setting, right? How do you guys deal with um, sort of managing the community that is NSIG at this point? Because I know for a little while the community got a little bit of a reputation for not being a very welcoming place, and I feel like that's kind of improved significantly over the last couple of years. Can you talk to a little bit about like how that's changed and like what you guys have done to kind of make that better?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So back in like 2020, this was before we started doing like big tournaments. So I want to say like early 2020 and late 2019 as well. A lot of the people in the server were really toxic, just straight up like gigantic egos. They thought they were better than everyone. They wanted to be better than everyone. They talked a lot of trash. So like you would go into the server and you would see people just not being nice, not very welcoming at all. And there was one incident in particular back then that happened with Sparky and Stingray. And a lot of people I noticed, I woke up, it was like 9 in the morning, and I woke up and I saw a bunch of people in NSIG General, like trying to back up Stingray and go after Sparky. And I was like, yo, like this is not cool. Like straight up. Like that's when it really opened my eyes that I needed to manage the server better.
Mm,
Cause that was like a really messed up situation. And a lot of people got really mad at NSIG because of that. And
right.
I that day or like that week in general, I um I went ahead, I banned a lot of the very bad apples that were in the server, and I made like a long essay and announcements talking about how I'm going to update the rules and I'm gonna try and be a more welcoming place because I had noticed that I cultivated a kind of like an area where there was a lot of really good players that were just like trying to fuel their egos. And I don't really know how to explain that better, but like I could tell it was a good thing, but at the same time it wasn't a good thing.
Mm,
Well, at the time it wasn't a good thing, but I noticed that I could turn it into a good thing
right.
by like making it a more welcoming place, you know? And that's kind of when I had the idea. If we wanted to appeal more to the rest of the community, we could do a tournament. And I told Sandvik, hey, let's run a big tournament. Like you see Trix has these tournaments. I was like, yo, why don't we do our own tournament? I hit up my boy EXO, shout out EXO. He taught me how to do everything RGG related, and we ended up running our own big tournament, and just went up from there pretty much.
Nice. Nice. Anything you want to add about community stuff, Sandwich?
Uh, I guess kind of to generalize like that issue with like players just not knowing how to control their egos. It's literally a situation of like you have untrained, like you have people who are untrained in media. They're
Mm-hmm.
also 13 and 14.
Yeah.
So you just have like a bad mix of like people who could potentially just like ruin how like competitive Brawlhalla looks to like the outside. Because like as soon as like Boomy, Sandstorm, all these other players, if they were to like quit, which some of them had, if a lot of these new players today didn't really like, I guess like crack down or like kind of get used to like not projecting their egos like that, like to their personality like that, I feel like a lot of the landscape today would be a lot more toxic.
Yeah.
Not just in NSA, but like on Twitter in general, because it was bad. It was really really bad back then. Um, but I'd say like NSIG just so happened to be like that area in that time and place where it was like, okay, you want to get like all these new players to like kind of know what to do. It's we just did that. And I want to say things got better roughly around like 2021. For sure, like
Mm,
2021, by then everything smoothened out like a lot more.
right.
A lot more like older pros and just like people on the outside who had a negative outlook on NSIG started to like turn like the other leaf, I guess. Not
Mm-hmm.
turn the other leaf, but like kind of realized like, oh, they're actually becoming like something a lot more like they're not here to like play around and just go out. They're like trying to make something cool out of that, I guess.
Yeah.
And like that was the intention we had in the beginning. But again, it's like we ran into that issue of like we have pro players trying to like ego out, do this, that, the third, whether that's like of their own volition or them being influenced by other bad apples. But that got filtered out, and then we're here now. Bro, this hurricane's about to go crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, audio only listeners, you're not seeing it. It looks like despair and agony is about to hit here.
I see the trees.
Bro, you see the webcam shaking. I'm gonna move in a second, but
Okay.
that's essentially how it went. It was just like that grace period of like, okay, NSIG's reputation's looking really bad right now in 2018. We could either just disband the clan and just stop everything and just chill, or we could try to repair it. We could take like the hard choice and try to repair it. And
Yeah.
there was probably a couple times where we wanted to just like not do NSIG anymore and just like give it up and just like kind of leave it as it is, but we kind of stuck through. We were just like, hey, we can get the community's trust again and just like go crazy, and then that's what we did.